Hey, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. The year is flying by, right? Oh,
Oh my goodness. Oh.
and we lost our guest. She's gonna
She'll be right
come
back.
back right in. Yes, yes,
That's the beauty of technology. We're still figuring it out ourselves. So
yes, yes. And it's gonna be an amazing conversation. Margaret, it's amazing. And by the way, a fun fact, do you know where she's located at?
where's she located?
She's in Alaska. Can you
Oh
believe
my
that?
goodness. Wow.
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
we are
I
we keep going global all over the ways.
exactly. And I believe by now she's prepping real story for the winter.
Oh yeah.
So I would love to hear how is that going. All right, so she's back.
Okay, I'm a little challenged, a little technology.
It's all
No
good.
worries.
We are
We're
going through
here.
the same stuff ourselves, just learning this new system because it gives us a way to connect like with you and many others. So we're excited to do it, but there are little challenges still to figure it all out. So
Yes.
Hey Margaret, while you were away for a while, I was telling everyone that you're based in Alaska, right? And that's amazing. I believe right now you're prepping for winter.
Winter's here.
Winter's here, yes. Awesome.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear
Yes,
you
can you hear
perfectly.
us?
Yes, I see you perfectly, hear you perfectly. Everything is working good for you.
Can you
Awesome.
hear us? Sound check. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So, all right, introducing our amazing guest. Today we have the pleasure to talk to Margaret Williams here. She's an ICF certified executive coach, retired Army civilian, and CEO of Intuitive Professional Coaching. And we're gonna walk this through, but whenever we start chatting with us, you're gonna see she has nearly 40 years navigating leadership at highest stakes, across continents, contracts, and cultures. So, Margaret, you bring that depth, of rare experience, like helping high performance leaders transforms, through their vision, agility, and obviously that inner mastery. So, let's start from the beginning. How like was navigating so many complex systems in the army spark your passion to guide leaders through uncertainty? How was their experience? And by the way, how you end up in the army in the first place? Like, walk us through that amazing journey so far.
Well, what happened is that after I got my associate's degree, I talked to a, a, my colleague I went to school with. Let me ask you a question first. I'm getting
Mhm.
an echo. So
Let's see. Can we fix anything here?
Let's see if
so what's happened here is that my phone is tethered to my desktop and I hear a echo.
Any better?
Uh I'm not sure. I'm going to deal with it.
Okay.
So I got an opportunity to give him my resume and he sent it to his sister-in-law who worked for the Corps of Engineers as a project manager, program manager. And from there, she passed my resume on to someone else that she knew. And I got called in for an interview, and they asked me what I wanted to. And I told them, if you offer me this job, I'll make it a career. Okay. So I pretty much went in there and said, this is my job. Okay. And that's the attitude that you have to have.
Mhm.
I went in there, I had did my homework, found out about the organization, came up with a couple of questions that I could ask them, and they were impressed. first of all, they had an introduction from somebody that they knew and respected. And that made the big difference about who you know and who you align yourself with.
Okay.
And you asked me another question. Working for the Army was resonated with me because growing up in a structured, organized childhood where you boxed in and you follow these rules and regulations and you go along with the status quo. And I fit in because that's the type of environment I grew up in and that's what I knew. And it was
Mhm.
taking me out of where I came from, the streets of Detroit, of all places, is very tough. So I'm like, this was an opportunity to make a difference and to get out of the neighborhood to prevent becoming a statistic, you know. So I wanted more for myself and I wanted to be a positive role model for others. So this was the way for me to be able to accomplish that goal.
Wow. Now, did you have anyone in the a military before that you knew, or just this was a new thing for you completely?
It was new completely, but we enter new things all the time. Sometimes
Mhm.
these things are forced on us and we have to adjust.
Yeah.
So to me, it was a calling for me to do something better, something greater. I've been molded and shaped like each of us since we were born in the world. And we just realize the things that are calling for us. If we just listen, what other alternative would I have had if I hadn't accepted that challenge?
Yeah.
I only heaven knows.
That's amazing. That when you listen to the universe and hear what it's trying to send you, that's a really important thing that many of us will kind of ignore, and we go, oh, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't know if that's me. But you might be told it like several times and you just ignore it. I love, there's a story that someone just told the other day to me about how a guy was on a stranded in the middle of a lake or in the middle of the ocean, and first comes along is a ship and goes, let us save you. And he goes, no, no, the God's here, he's going to save me. And then a little bit later, a plane comes along. He goes, no, 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 God's going to save me. And then finally, he drowns and he goes to God and he goes, God, why didn't you save me? He says, well, I sent you the ship, I sent you the plane. What'd you expect?
For me to fly down to
Yeah,
help you out.
yeah.
Exactly. So when we listen to these signs, whether it's a person or something just dropping into our lap, and then take that leap of faith forward, it's usually always a good experience in which we learn a lot of valuable lessons.
Mhm. Even
Eh,
with the challenges that might come with it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any step forward is a positive step in the right direction.
That's amazing. And Margaret, during your journey, and what were some of those most defining challenges, and how did you shift from all the external authority? Because whenever we hear army, we already think about like leadership and authority. So they are very well known for being authoritative. So how were you able to find your authentic kind of leadership, aligned with yourself and with others? Can you walk us through that experience?
Well, it all starts with character and your values. Before I started to go to work for the Corps of Engineers, I noticed that our values were in alignment. That's very important for shared goals and shared interests. Okay, because employees want to know what's in it for me. And in order to get their buy-in, they have to understand their roles, their responsibility, and what they're going to get out of it. What we're getting out of it actually is more of like altruism. Uh, when you go by to see these buildings that we built for the military, or the infrastructure, or whether it's the levees in Louisiana, we can take pride for the work that we done to make a difference for the people that live in these communities and in the world. So that is more gratifying to me than even a paycheck, because I didn't work for the government for money per se. It's the feeling that you get from helping others.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
That's
And-
why I stayed with the Army as long as I did, because it was so gratifying. I had such a dysfunctional upbringing with abuse and everything. So dedicating my life to service is the biggest contribution that anybody can give to the world, because each and every one of us have skills, expertise, and knowledge. And it's a travesty not to be able to utilize this to help others, to elevate others, and we rise together.
Mhm.
Amen.
Khalil
And
said
if
you were
more people thought like that, the world would be a much better place.
absolutely.
So it takes each and every one of us to make that happen. And that's why you all are here
Mhm.
uh, telling your stories.
Exactly, exactly. We want to share the stories of others, because without us learning about others and their life, we don't realize how much in common we have, let alone how unique we are. So we, in both ways, we want to learn those things and learn how to grow together, instead of fighting with each other about politics or whatever. We need to learn and understand who each and everyone is, and how much we are like them in many ways, because there's a common thread around all of us, and we just need to understand that.
Absolutely. And I realized that in my work and living internationally, that we're more the same than we are different. We might
Mm-hmm.
speak a different language, but mostly our needs the same. Think about it. Basic needs,
Yep.
you got safety, belonging, and we have more in common than we realize. But
Mm-hmm.
when a lot of people just live in one place their whole life, they're limited of how they see the world.
Yep.
Okay? And then when you travel outside of where you live and explore different areas, then you realize, wow, they do this over here. They do this, and they eat this, and
Mm-hmm.
it just opens your whole world to a whole new thing, like the Matrix.
Yeah. But what I also like is, in addition to that common thread like that, I like that when these conversations happen, someone resonates with what you're saying and goes, "Wow, I didn't know anyone else had that or did that
Yeah.
or felt that." And that's a even bigger thing, because so many people think that they run in their own little world, and no one else feels like they do. No one else has the issues they do. No one's going through what they did. They don't understand that until they hear it and they go, "Oh my goodness, I'm not alone." And that's what I love about these stories. And that's I think the core of it all is the common threads, as well as the connections to each other of how those stories help each other.
Absolutely. You can see how everybody is coming together through all of this chaos. How come we can't do that during peaceful times?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're too caught up into ourselves. I. No man is an island, and we all live in this world together. Why not be a community and come together and help each other grow
Yeah.
Amen.
exponentially?
Yeah.
It
Now,
Yes.
starts
now,
here.
Khalil said that you were in Alaska. What took you to Alaska?
Well, you can, as a civilian, I can only stay overseas for so long. And because of everything we have to go through, everybody should go back home and do a reset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because being here in Israel, the first time it was 5 years. I went back to the States for a couple of years, and then I came back, and then I left uh, after 6 years. Okay, because when you're dealing with all these mortars coming in, and then you have to take cover and all the
Mm-hmm.
other things you have to deal with, it takes its toll on
Okay.
you physically, mentally, emotionally, and the things that I experienced in Iraq, being around all these burn pits,
Mm.
they burning all this stuff, you inhaling all of this stuff. Some people I work with died of cancer.
Mm.
Some things you just don't want to know, and having to have anthrax. I didn't want it, but they said if you want to deploy, you're going to take it. So it was either I was going to go back home uh, and take my chances on a reduction in force, or I was going to go to Iraq. So at that time, I had limited time. And then if they do a reduction in force, I would be one of the first ones to leave because I didn't have enough time in service. So I just chose to go to Iraq instead. But it's a lot of things that you go through. Even as a civilian, I had all the military gear. They're not going to give us a weapon per se.
Right.
Okay. But they did take us out there and show us how to use a weapon. Okay. Very powerful. But I never wanted to own one because don't pull out a gun unless you're going to use it. Okay.
Right.
So I
Right.
got a lot of experience um, that I wouldn't have gotten if I hadn't took that job, if I hadn't have went to Iraq, if I hadn't have went to Israel twice, I would have still been the same grade. Okay, I would not have been promoted. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the reason I got that job, affirmative action at that time, I filled two quotas. Okay, if you can fill a woman and a African American, that's a win for the organization. So then they don't have to hire another minority. They check the box off. They check. Okay, so I went in there saying I'm not gonna fail. Period. Whatever they give me, I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna take care of it. And I did everything they asked me to do. And with that, came all this experience. And so I could pick and choose at that point which job I wanted and where I wanted to go. That gave me power and
There you go.
influence because I was the type of person who would take initiative. I don't sit there and wait till you tell me what to do. I will do something and I say, is this good enough for you? Okay? You got to
Yep.
take the initiative. Don't
You
sit there
have
and
to.
wait.
Mm-hmm.
Time waits for no one.
Yep.
Okay? And that would bug me as an employer that you sitting there waiting for me to tell you what to do. Then I tell you, you don't need this job. You need to find another job.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what happens. Exactly. Yeah.
That's
See, I'm from
amazing.
Generation Jones. Okay? We about our business. Okay? We take the initiative.
I
And when the
love it.
army saw that I was willing to do whatever, they like, oh yeah, we like her. Come on over here.
Yeah.
That's
So it
amazing.
was no problem for me. If you found somebody that like to work, they'll give you all the work you want
Yeah.
and then some.
That's exactly
That's
it. Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
And
Sometimes, most times, I was rewarded, and there was times I wasn't. But again, it wasn't about them. It's about what I can put on my resume to show what I can do to other prospective employer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing a person want to know. You take initiative, okay? It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Because if you have to ask for permission, then you on your way out.
Exactly.
that's amazing. And Margaret, obviously, we're going to talk about this in a little bit. You know, you have this amazing project called Empowered Leader. Okay. And what inspired you? You know, let's say you're a diamond. You're a great leader. You have this great energy. What first of all, who is or who are your biggest inspirations, you know, of becoming this amazing leader, you know, that you are? And from your perspective, what are the three main values that you have that you either, you know, focus on achieving that you believe helped you to become this diamond?
Wow. Okay. Integrity is loyalty, um, respect.
Integrity, loyalty, and respect. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Top three. Yes.
Yeah.
Top
Those
three.
are
As
true
far
core
as
values.
I'm sorry.
Those are true core values there.
Absolutely. That's your sale. Okay. Without
Mm-hmm.
that, you going with every which way, and
Walk us through, like, why those three, like, so
well,
the
the
audience
Army
can understand it.
values. It's in alignment with the Army values and that selfless service, putting others before yourself. You know, if you ever served in the Army or any um, military, um, you know, the Marines or anything like that, the Air Force, they all have their motto, their vision, their purpose, and yeah, the vision, mission, and purpose. And so everything aligns with that. Okay. So we you live and you die by that. Okay. You got to stand for something or fall for anything. So
Exactly.
if you don't have
True.
that, you don't have nothing. That defines who you are. Okay? And that defines whether people follow you or not. I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to follow a leader if their values aren't in line with mine. Okay? He going to go say, you go jump in that river. And I'm going to say, I'm not doing that. Bye. Okay, because I told my supervisor that, and I said, I'm not the employee, I'm not the type of employee that's gonna do just anything you tell me to do. You tell me to jump in that river, I'm not going. And she didn't like that. I don't care. So here I am today. And that's why she's still working.
That's how it works. Got to take that
Well, I
initiative.
know they say some things you shouldn't say, but I don't care because I'm older than her, you know, so that we didn't get
Sometimes
along.
you have to toot your horn there, like that's just an important thing because some people don't realize what you did or how you got there. So by calling that out and being giving that little extra shine on who you are, it's definitely worth doing because others need to see that and hear that.
Well, she was intimidated by me, so whatever. That was
Yep.
her problem, not
Yep.
mine. Okay.
But the
So
value behind it is that you helped yourself move forward, and that's the key thing there.
wasn't nobody else going to do it. She
Yep.
was sabotaging me. And I can see that. So but she failed. Okay.
So
Absolutely.
for those stepping into a new role or a big challenge like you've been through, what mind shift or what mind shift is most critical to have, and what would be your message for the women professionals striving to impact in a high stakes male dominated environment? I mean that's the things here. How as a woman who's trying to get ahead in this world, what would you give them as advice today?
Well, you always have to bring your A game. Okay. And you have to do your homework. And you have to come dressed to impress. What I mean, not necessarily clothes wise, what I mean is mentally and being savvy with doing your homework, coming with stats, whatever you need, so you can show people who you are and that you mean business and be
Mhm.
unapologetic about it, but be respectful.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And
because
Margaret,
I'm in there talking to colonels and chiefs and um, area engineers and things like that. So I want to show them my professionalism and that my respect for their role and responsibilities. However, I'm gonna hold my own, but respectfully.
Mm-hmm. In today's environment with how the military is kind of shifting a little bit, is there any advice you would give to help them work through this, because it is going to be more of a challenge for some women right now, the way they're moving.
Oh, it is. I I s- I would say less, because you don't want to give people the ammunition to use against you while you're planning your exit. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because things are not going to get better under this administration.
Mm-hmm.
They have removed all collective bargaining, and the employees are at a disadvantage
Mm-hmm.
completely.
Yep.
If you give them any reason, they will fire they will fire you. And so nobody can afford that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still no guarantee that they won't fire you anyway.
Right.
So that's why I tell people, start planning your exit plan. I'm glad I started with the government when I did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because now you couldn't offer me a government job. I would never take it.
Yeah. And that's a
That's the
sad
reality.
thing to say. Yeah, that's a very sad statement to hear, because there was a time where it was an honor and a pleasure to work for the government, and it was like kind of a career goal for many because they knew that they would get into a job that was steady, stable, and helping people. And now you don't even know if you can help anyone, let alone if it's steady or stable.
I can tell you right now, with this government shutdown, I can't even submit my Army pension paperwork. There's no one to talk to. Um, my my emails are returned,
Wow.
and it's not only just
Wow.
impacting me. Think about all the people that lost SNAP in the right before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So what are they? How are they going to eat? And how are they going to feed their families? And who in the hell would do this? To it's inhumane.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know. How I'm gonna pay my rent next month if I don't get my pension because I had to buy a bedroom house to come here, which I could ill afford because I couldn't find nothing else because
Hmm.
it's limited inventory.
Yeah.
When I was overseas, so I had to try to buy a house from there because I have dogs.
Okay.
Okay, so I was working with a realtor, and every time she go to a house, there's already 3 or 4 offers. So I lost 3 houses. Okay, so this house, I see why it was available because all the work that needed to be done. So I had to take money from my retirement to fix up the house to make it livable for me.
Hmm.
So I'm looking to get out the house. I talked to someone about it, and she said, "Oh yeah, we can put you in a 3 bedroom house, but it's gonna cost you the same amount of money." I'm like, you know what? I may as well stay here, okay?
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to be a landlord.
Yeah.
And I fixed up the downstairs, and I'm still waiting for a tenant, of the right tenant.
That's the important part, the right tenant. So.
Exactly. I'd rather for it to stay empty, okay? Because the last two I had, they were a nightmare.
Oh yeah. I've been through
I,
that.
okay? Okay, it is what it is.
Yep.
So I'm
And,
just
and,
taking
and
it one step at a time and focusing on this publication. The name of the publication just came to me, okay? And so I've been following my intuition with respect to this publication. I had no idea how to put it together, much less run one. Okay. So coming from the federal government after 39 years and now having to be a solopreneur, I'm like, what the hell is that? Okay. And trying to figure out who I am now and all these things at the same time. Okay.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
is what it is. But I'm enjoying it because I'm doing all this for me, not somebody else. They
yes.
getting all the glory, the fame, the influence, and the rewards, everything, while I'm just getting just a paycheck. And then when I leave, they don't even recognize my existence. Like I just never existed. So we
Yeah.
have to value ourselves. We can't put
Mhm.
our everything in these jobs because you can die today. They'll throw you on the floor and say, "Hey, here's an empty desk. Get to
Yep.
work."
Pretty much it. Yep. Exactly.
And Margaret, you have this amazing project, called the Empowered Leader. Walk us through. Tell the audience what it's all about. How can they find you? How can they benefit from this amazing project that you're doing?
Well, I'm putting it together step by step based on my expertise, my knowledge. And so it's been a slow process. But basically, I started talking to women working in a non-traditional field, working in the, with the military and in construction, okay, of all things. I just ended up there and I just followed my career through. I really enjoy it, and everything that I learned administratively, I've been incorporating into the empowered leader. Okay. And now I'm working on development of products and services that is going to help um, uh, my paid and founding members. It's
Mm.
just putting it all together, and it takes time. Okay. I put out a survey, like 344 people read it. One person replied. I learned something from that. I could have maybe made the survey shorter.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything I am doing is through trial and error. That's the same thing I did my whole life. I didn't know what I was doing. Try things and see
Yeah.
what works, what doesn't, what failed. I wouldn't say fail. I would say what didn't go as well as I would like.
Yeah.
Then what can I do to make it better? So it's all coming together. It's just a process. Um, and just remembering that I'm no longer in the military, and that meeting people where they are and seeing how I can um, bridge the gap and help them to achieve their goals. I am very good with strategy, and I can see things from the outside that other people can't see. And so with this, I have able to help various people, giving them ideas with their business.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, since I have this gift, why not get paid for it? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's more than time because I've been here for a year. Um, this is a business and I have to treat it as such.
Nice.
Now, are you building your publication on Substack or are you building it elsewhere just so that we can let our audience know to keep a lookout for it?
Well, what I've found is it's best not to put all your eggs in one basket. Okay.
Okay.
Because, say, for example, somebody buys Substack today. Okay. The changes that they make, we may or may not like them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a footprint on LinkedIn where I have over 14,000 connections because of my work with the military over the 39 years. And a lot of people that I worked with in uh, the military over my career, I have on Facebook, okay, and also adding people on IG and
Hmm.
Threads. I also have my YouTube up, and I'm getting new subscribers there. I'm
Okay.
also on Spotify and Apple, and all the others,
That's
Overcast,
amazing.
and wherever else I can be, I'll be there too.
Now, are you planning to do more podcasts like, or are you doing more newsletter like?
Well, I don't think I should limit myself at all. So
Okay.
I do writing, I do audio, podcasts, and anything else I can think of. Okay.
That's
That's what we
fantastic.
have to do in today's world because there's a lot of coaches, marketers, consultants. What's going to set us apart from everyone else? Okay, so I'm always thinking, reflecting, and coming up with ideas. When
That's
we
And
fantastic.
don't, that's when we become obsolete
how the
very
audience
quickly,
can find you.
right? Because
Uh,
I made the rising business bestseller list, but for one day. So that goes to
That's
show
amazing.
you how competitive Substack is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Amazing.
so
Congrats. Congrats.
you can't put any stock in the numbers. I stopped counting it. I like let it go. Just focus on my work and providing value to my subscribers, and then I've done my job.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we will share your publications from all the different areas so that everyone has access to that, especially the Substack, but also the LinkedIn and Instagram, and also that will be on when we release this, and you'll be able to also publish this on your page if you like, so this conversation can be shared there as well.
Thank you so
And for
much
the
for the opportunity.
Thank you for being part of this. This is a pleasure having you with us, and we are going to go over to Kornerz and have the ongoing conversation just to talk a little bit more. And if anybody wants to join us on Kornerz, they can come on over on the app. We are on there on iPhone right now on the iOS version. So please join us over there. And we'll have a little more conversation where you can talk directly with Margaret and ask her direct questions. So we look forward to that, and we thank you again, Margaret, for being part of this.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're amazing. And to the audience, make sure, here's her name, Margaret Williams, like she said, she's on LinkedIn, she's on Substack, she has her website. So make sure to, find her on your preferable social platform. And you're going to be amazed by her work and her writing and all the content that she's putting out there. She is the real deal. Amazing,
Mm-hmm.
Margaret. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Margaret.
All right, bye-bye. Bye.
All
Bye
right, see
bye.
you on the other side. Bye bye now.
Okay.
Thank
Bye
you,
All
bye.
right.
everyone. Have a great
All
day.
right.
Bye
See
bye,
you
guys.
Monday.
All right.
See y'all.